to come up with an argument that Caitlin Clark isn't one of the 5 greatest women's college basketball players of all time, and it's because she didn't win a title. Let's watch the clip as ESPN analysts talk themselves out of Caitlin Clark being one of the 5 greatest women's basketball players.
Love Caitlin, love how she's transcended the game. I'm not going to go away from that, but in the open, we said, what makes a top 5 player? Winning. The only strike against Caitlin Clark is that she has not won a national championship. And that is the only thing that you can put against her, because the way she has dominated the record books when she was at Iowa was something you cannot duplicate. She's a 3-time NCAA scoring leader and assist leader, a true point guard for the people, 3-time All-American, 2-time Naismith Player of the Year, 2-time AP Player of the Year, all-time leading scorer. She broke the records of Kelsey Plum and Sabrina. Like, literally, there is nobody who has been such a front-facing name. It's through a direct reflection of her skill set, but how can you be a top 5 player if you have not won a title?
It's a great point, which is why I agree with you. Convince me, Ari. We're switching them back.
Again, we read Cheryl Miller's resume. She's a winner. She's a winner multiple times. Yeah. But, like, I have a really hard time. It's, like, paining me to leave Caitlin off this list because of the record, because of what she's done outside of those 94 feet. She has really thrust women's basketball in the mainstream. She has collected her individual accolades. I
get it. I hear you. I get it.
Hope.
If I pick.
All right, Steve. Caitlin Clark took Iowa to back-to-back national championship games.
I mean, she didn't win, though. She didn't win.
Kate Martin, but Breanna Stewart, who's on this list, played at UConn with a bunch of other pros, a bunch of other WNBA players. This comes down to whether you believe being a part of a stacked team at UConn or South Carolina and winning a national championship, is that more impressive than sticking with your little home school, not surrounded by great talent, and carrying them all the way to the brink of championships back-to-back years? What's more impressive? Doing more with less, or doing the best you can with the best there is?
I mean, Jason, I would argue, and me being the women's college basketball historian that I am, that young lady there in Iowa City did more with less than anybody. And people say, well, she's like Pistol Pete Maravich. Maravich never went to the Final Four or the final game. And look, in my view, because of where I grew up, I am biased and how old I am, you will never tell me there was a better women's basketball player than the great Cheryl Miller. Okay, to the day I die, I will die on that hill. It is Cheryl Miller. But Cheryl Miller had a loaded USC team. She had the McGee sisters, and I believe Cynthia Cooper.
And just to chime in, I'm from LA, so out here, Cheryl Miller, like I said, is a GOAT. I always talk about Cheryl. I really wanted her to get the coaching job with the Indiana Fever, but I'm also very happy with Coach Stephanie White. Cheryl Miller is a GOAT, but let's continue.
Major league talent, okay? Every other girl, or lady that was listed because they won, they probably had at least 2 or 3 All-Americans or players that probably had long WNBA careers if it was afforded to them. I have a question for you, Jason. Do you believe Larry Bird is an all-time great college player?
Yes.
Okay, well, he didn't win it, though. Right, but he didn't win it. Can you name me a single player?
Look, all-time great. We can name a bunch of all-time great college players. The fact of the point is that they're discrediting Caitlin Clark after naming all of her accolades because she hasn't won. So I get the comparison, but the thing is, Caitlin Clark has still done more than all of you guys in single-handed stats. That's the major point.
That maybe you can't because you're an Indiana guy, but think about this and what's unfair. And I am a Magic Johnson Laker homer, no doubt. But when they say, well, and Magic beat them in the Final Four in '79, Right. Okay. Michigan State was a Big Ten team. He also had two teammates that were NBA first round draft choices in Greg Kelser and Jay Vincent. Okay. Um, Larry Bird had a bunch of accountants, doctors, and lawyers who probably never dribbled a basketball for $1 in their life after their eligibility ran out in Terre Haute, Indiana. Do we not have some nuance to that? Jeez.
I think it was Carl Reed or Carl Nix. Carl Nix,
Yeah.
I believe.
Carl Nix, he was a guard. He was a guard.
Yeah.
He was a
And
guard.
did they Alex Gilbert, Bobby Heaton, I remember the Brad Miley, I remember Steve Reed. But you know, I gotta search the research bank. I got a little assist here off of the internet. But yeah, I remember Carl Nix for sure.
Yeah.
He was their second leading scorer and was a pretty good guard. Maybe he had a cup of coffee in the NBA. But you're right, Larry Bird did not, compared to what Magic was playing with, it was not even close. But here's something I find interesting in all of this, Steve, is that take the young black woman that was making the argument. I would tend to bet she would make the argument that when it comes to academic performance and why we should let certain people in universities, despite the fact their SAT scores may not be this or that, is they'll say, well, you know, the kind of poverty they had to overcome, they had to do less, or they had to do more with less. And so they can see all the extenuating circumstances around someone, and it elevates their greatness. Like, okay, yeah, maybe they didn't have a 1450 SAT score, but you know, they came from poverty, they went to a poor school, and so blah, blah, blah. And how that mindset and logic doesn't apply to, hey, she played at Iowa, it's not a powerhouse program. Kate Martin's in the WNBA, but she's not gonna be some kind of NBA star or whatever. I just don't understand how you can see someone doing more with less in some aspects, but in this one, you can't see it. You can't give them credit for that.
Yeah, don't forget the culturally biased SAT score. Remember that? That's first and foremost. But Jason, she listed off like she made All-American such and such time. The Naismith player there. I'm like, well, all of that. So none of that matters because she could not beat a stacked South Carolina team that probably had multiple players. I mean, there have been years, Jason. I remember.
That's one of the main points. You name all of the accolades. You name everything. There's a whole list on Twitter X I've seen. It's crazy. Caitlin Clark's resume is crazy. But it doesn't matter because she didn't win. The girl went to Iowa. Iowa is not a top basketball school by any means. In the future, yeah, maybe it could step up to be one. Yeah, it's proven that the past 3, 4, 5 years, 3, 4 years, yeah, they're doing their thing. And I expect more talent to roll through that door. Or at least attract more talent. Right? Caitlin Clark could have took the easy route. She could have went to UConn. Caitlin Clark would have won a natty at UConn. Imagine what Caitlin Clark did at Iowa, especially on the assist side. Imagine what kind of assist record Caitlin Clark would have broke at a school like UConn, South Carolina, LSU, schools with huge talent going through the door constantly. The team she lost to in the natty, loaded teams. So you're not even going to credit her the fact that she's won 3 Big Ten titles. I don't know what else to say. I really don't. I guess, ESPN, this is how they're going to judge it. Cheryl Miller's won. Diana Taurasi's won on a loaded team. These are loaded teams we're talking about. Talented teams. I don't see any of them being better than Caitlin Clark. Nobody on that list. Maya Moore was that shit. Maya Moore is that shit for sure, but Brianna Stewart, I don't think she's better than Caitlin Clark. Diana Taurasi, nope. You guys got to go in a situation like Caitlin Clark. Go somewhere where you don't really got talent around you and you guys make something out of nothing. Those girls at Iowa, they weren't the biggest, the most athletic, the toughest girls. Everybody knows that. Let's not try to act like that's not the case. Like that, no. Everybody knew that. So I give credit to Caitlin Clark and what she's done and what she did with the hand that she's been dealt with at Iowa. You know, I think the ranking's a little bit off. Not even putting her in the top 5 is crazy. And it all comes down to her not winning a championship. They won a lot of games at Iowa, a lot of basketball games. And they've done it in some of the craziest moments, game winners, big shots, underdogs, Final Fours. So many different opportunities and situations they've been in that I could talk about. Some of these other girls, like Diana Taurasi, I didn't watch too much of her in college. I watched highlights. Brianna Stewart, I'm more so. I watched her. Maya Moore, I watched a lot of highlights of Maya Moore and in WNBA. Cheryl Miller. Like I said, from where I'm from, Cheryl Miller, she's goated. But she didn't accomplish what Caitlin Clark accomplished. All these girls accomplished team accomplishments. These aren't personal accomplishments. These are team accomplishments that they accomplished. And this would probably be my last time talking on it, unless there's somebody else who gives us really good points. But I'm not here to dig up all the stats and dig up all the... I know if I could skim, Caitlin Clark has accomplished more personal stats with a team like Iowa than anybody on that list. And that's the last thing I'm going to say, man. Look, if you guys haven't, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. We're all over right now. We're kind of getting ready for the season and things like that, so bear with me. If you don't see me here, expect me everywhere else. But yeah, we're always online. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, drop a comment. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Let me know what you guys think about this as well. There's been another situation with ESPN. They just, the Juju situation, they're trying to put that's the next narrative. The Juju's better than Caitlin and back and forth. So we got a lot of that coming out. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one, and I'm out.